During my ultrasound, the doctor's hand suddenly stopped moving. The room went completely silent, except for the steady hum of the machine. Then she stood up, pulled me firmly into the hallway, and whispered words I never expected to hear in a hospital. "You need to leave, now. File for divorce." I stared at her, stunned. "Why?" She glanced both ways down the hallway. "No time to explain. Look at this." What she showed me next made my blood run cold. My name is Nathan Cole, 36 years old, a high school history teacher in Austin, Texas. My wife Melissa and I had been trying to have a baby for 2 years. 2 years full of hope and heartbreak, appointments and disappointments. Until 3 weeks ago, when she called me at work, her voice shaking with joy. "Nathan, it's positive." I'd walked out of class in the middle of a lesson, driven straight home, and held her in our kitchen while we both cried like complete idiots. The ultrasound that morning was supposed to be a celebration. Melissa had asked me to come straight from school. She'd go ahead, handle the paperwork, get settled. Completely normal. I arrived 7 minutes late, slightly out of breath, still holding my jacket. The receptionist smiled warmly and sent me straight to room 4. I walked in, expecting to see my wife. Instead, the room was empty. Only Dr. Sarah Okafor stood beside the ultrasound machine, her expression unreadable, holding a printed image against her chest, as if she didn't know whether to show it to me or destroy it. "Mr. Cole," she said carefully, "please close the door." Dr. Okafor had been practicing obstetrics for 19 years. She had that quiet authority that inspired instant trust, steady hands, controlled voice. Someone who had delivered thousands of babies and guided hundreds of families through their most vulnerable moments. She wasn't easily rattled. Right now she was rattled. She pulled up 2 images on her tablet side by side, both ultrasounds, both under Melissa's name and date of birth, both from this clinic. "This first image," she said quietly, "was taken this morning, 20 minutes ago." She pointed to the second. "This one was taken 11 weeks ago, at Melissa's first appointment." I looked closely at both images. "I'm not a doctor," I said slowly. "You'll have to explain what I'm looking at." "Gestational age," Dr. Okafor said. "This morning's ultrasound shows a pregnancy at roughly 14 weeks of development." She paused. "But 11 weeks ago, Melissa was already at 8 weeks. I stared at her. "That doesn't make sense." "No," she agreed, "it doesn't. Because if she was at 8 weeks back then, she'd be at 19 weeks today, not 14. Dr. Okafor set the tablet down carefully. "Mr. Cole, these numbers don't add up to a continuous pregnancy." The hallway suddenly felt smaller. "What are you saying?" She looked at me directly, professionally compassionate. "I'm saying this morning's ultrasound points to a conception date that's completely inconsistent with the records from your wife's first appointment." A pause. "I've reviewed your file, Mr. Cole. You weren't available during the relevant conception window." My mouth went dry. I was at a teacher's conference. I said numbly, "In Denver. 10 days. 10 days in Denver." I remembered that conference exactly. Late October, 5 schools, 40 teachers. I'd called Melissa from the hotel every night. She'd sounded normal, happy even. She told me about her book club, her yoga class, a dinner with her sister. Her sister? Dr. Okafor pulled my attention back. "Mr. Cole, I want to be very careful here. I could be wrong. Medical records sometimes have inconsistencies. Data entry errors happen." She clasped her hands together. "But I have a professional and ethical duty to tell you what I'm seeing." "How sure are you?" She didn't hesitate. "Sure enough to pull you into this hallway." I leaned against the wall. The fluorescent light overhead was suddenly unbearably bright. "Where's Melissa?" "She stepped out 20 minutes ago," she said. "Said she needed coffee. She hasn't come back." A pause. "Mr. Cole, when she confirmed the appointment, she specifically asked which doctor was on duty. She asked who wouldn't be available. She asked who wouldn't be there." Dr. Okafor's face tightened slightly. "Dr. Patricia West usually handles Melissa's file. Patricia and I trained together. We're close." She paused. "Patricia mentioned Melissa's case to me last week. Something about the numbers bothered her too. She flagged it internally, but hadn't acted on it yet." My chest tightened, so Melissa knew Patricia was suspicious. "She scheduled this appointment specifically on Patricia's day off," Dr. Okafor said quietly. He knew Melissa hadn't forgotten coffee. She'd bought herself time. I left Dr. Okafor and sat down in the small waiting area, staring at the entrance. I pulled out my phone and opened my messages with Melissa. Everything suddenly looked different, like I was reading a language I'd always spoken without ever understanding it. Miss you, babe. Quiet night. Just had dinner with Rachel. Home now. Early bed tonight. Tired. Call you tomorrow, Rachel. Her sister. I called Rachel. She picked up after the second ring. Nathan. Hey, how's the appointment going? Melissa said she was nervous this morning. I kept my voice steady. I need to ask you something, and I need honesty. Okay. That last week of October, when I was in Denver, did Melissa really have dinner with you? Silence. Not the kind where someone's thinking. The kind where someone's calculating. Nathan, I don't want to get pulled into this. Was she with you or not? 4 seconds of silence. I counted them. No, Rachel finally whispered. She wasn't with me. I covered for her. I didn't know it would go this far. I swear. I hung up. Then I just sat there, still. And then Melissa walked through the door, holding 2 coffees, smiling like everything was normal. She didn't see me right away. 3 seconds where I could watch her. Real, unguarded. Then she saw me. Nathan, you made it. I thought you'd be late. Got you a coffee. Come on. They're probably waiting. Sit down, Melissa. Something in my voice stopped her. She said, I told her everything Dr. Okafor had shown me. Calm, precise. I watched her face move through 4 stages. Surprise, calculation, wounded innocence, and then controlled desperation. Nathan, I can explain. Who is he? Please, let me... Who is he, Melissa? She looked down into her coffee cup. His name is Derek. Derek from your yoga class? She nodded. Does he know about me? A pause. No. I stood up. I didn't make a scene. No screaming, no tears. She called me 7 times before I reached the car. I didn't pick up. I drove to my brother Marcus's place and told him everything. He listened. You need a lawyer before she realizes you know, he said. Daniel Park, family lawyer. Fast, precise. Don't go home tonight, he told me. Don't confront her. Don't touch any accounts. Don't change any passwords. 48 hours later, everything was clear. $67,000 had been moved out of our joint accounts over 11 months. She's building an exit, Daniel said. Then came the medical report from Dr. Okafor. Then the investigator. Then the truth about Derek. Melissa got the divorce papers on a Tuesday. She offered to pay the money back. Too late. She lost everything, and Derek disappeared the moment the truth came out. I signed the final documents on a Thursday. 6 years. Gone. But betrayal always shows itself eventually. Sometimes in numbers, sometimes in a hospital hallway. I lost my marriage, but not myself. And on some mornings, that's enough.